They see the goals. They see the trophies. They see the celebrations, the confidence, the body carved like discipline itself. What they don't see is the loneliness of becoming Cristiano Ronaldo. Because greatness doesn't begin in stadiums. It begins in silence, in moments where no one is clapping, where no one is watching, where quitting would be easy, and continuing feels almost unreasonable. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't come from comfort. He came from a small island called Madeira, a place where dreams feel far away and excuses are easy to find. His family didn't have money. His father struggled. His home wasn't peaceful. But something dangerous lived inside that boy, a refusal to accept limits placed on him by circumstances. While other kids played for fun, he played to escape. While others trained until they were tired, he trained until he was done. And even then, he stayed longer. Mindset is where his story truly begins. Not talent, not luck, mindset. Ronaldo believed something before the world ever did. He believed that work could outpace talent, that discipline could bend reality, that obsession, when focused, could turn an ordinary boy into an extraordinary force. When he left home at a young age to join Sporting CP, he cried. He missed his family. He felt alone. But instead of letting that pain weaken him, he turned it into fuel. Pain became purpose. Homesickness became hunger. At Manchester United, he wasn't the finished product. He was flashy, criticized, doubted. People said he was selfish, that he did too many stepovers, that he wasn't effective. Most players would shrink under that pressure. Ronaldo listened, and then stayed after training. Free kicks, sprints, strength work, repetition until frustration turned into mastery. Belief isn't loud at first. It's quiet, private, relentless. Belief is choosing to wake up early when nobody forces you to. Belief is running one more sprint when your legs are screaming. Belief is showing up again after a bad game, a bad season, a bad year. When Ronaldo won his first Ballon d'Or, it wasn't validation, it was confirmation. Confirmation that the hours mattered, that sacrifice compounds, that the body follows the mind. But belief alone isn't enough. Clarity is what sharpened him. Cristiano Ronaldo became dangerous when he stopped trying to be liked and started trying to be legendary. He didn't want to be one of the best. He wanted to be the best. That clarity offended people. It still does. But clarity doesn't ask for permission. At Real Madrid, the pressure was heavier than anywhere else on earth. Legends are born there or broken. Ronaldo chose to evolve. He studied his body, changed his diet, refined his sleep, adjusted his playing style as he aged. Speed became positioning. Dribbling became efficiency. Ego became execution. Vision drove him. He didn't train for the next match. He trained for the next decade. Every repetition had a destination. Every sacrifice had a reason. Nights out were replaced with ice baths. Comfort was replaced with control. Because he understood something most people never do. Motivation fades. Discipline doesn't. Purpose is what kept him moving when motivation disappeared. When critics said he was finished, he returned stronger. When injuries threatened his body, he rebuilt it. When teams changed, leagues changed. Countries changed. His standards never did. Action defined him. Not talk, not posts, not promises. Action. Early mornings, late nights, brutal honesty with himself. He demanded excellence because he refused regret. And when setbacks came, and they came often, he didn't hide from them. He learned. Missed penalties, painful losses, international heartbreak before international glory. He absorbed it all, adapted, adjusted, returned. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. Cristiano Ronaldo never asked life to be fair. He asked himself to be better. And that tends the real secret to greatness. Good, stay with it. Because this is where most people disappear. When the applause fades, when the body hurts, when the world moves on to the next headline, this is where Cristiano Ronaldo separated himself forever. Resilience isn't a slogan. It's built in dark moments. Moments like 2008 Champions League final. He misses a penalty. The weight of millions crashes onto his shoulders. For a second, the dream slips. Another player might crumble. Another player might let that moment define him. Ronaldo didn't. He stood back up. He faced the cameras. He accepted the responsibility, and he used the pain as a blueprint. Because setbacks, when studied honestly, become instructions. That season taught him something brutal. Pressure doesn't destroy you. Unprepared minds do. From that point on, he didn't just train harder, he trained smarter. He learned his body like a machine. He treated recovery like religion. He respected sleep like strategy. While others chased short-term pleasure, he chased longevity. Learning is humility in motion. And Ronaldo learned relentlessly. When he moved to Real Madrid, he entered a club that eats legends alive. The shirt alone carries history heavier than talent. Expectations were ruthless, comparisons endless. And yet year after year, he delivered. Not because he relied on who he was, but because he accepted who he needed to become. He adapted. As speed declined, timing improved. As defenders closed space, anticipation widened. As age crept in, intelligence took over. That's adaptability, not changing your goal, changing your method. People misunderstand discipline. They think it's restriction. Ronaldo knew it was freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from what if. Freedom from mediocrity. While others negotiated with comfort, he eliminated it. Even his diet became a weapon. His routine became sacred. His standards became non-negotiable. He was obsessed with football, but because he respected his potential. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Potential is expensive. It costs weekends. It costs excuses. It costs friendships that don't understand your hunger. It costs being misunderstood. Ronaldo paid that price willingly. When he returned to Manchester United years later, older, scrutinized, doubted again, he didn't demand special treatment. He demanded accountability. From himself first, goals followed. Not because time was kind, but because discipline had been loyal. Gratitude grounded him. Despite the fame, the wealth, the records, he never forgot the kid from Madeira. The hunger stayed because gratitude kept it alive. Gratitude for opportunity. Gratitude for struggle. Gratitude for the chance to prove himself again and again. That's why he trains like someone who hasn't made it yet, because entitlement kills greatness faster than failure ever could. Even with Portugal, the journey was cruel. Years of disappointment, near misses, criticism. People said he couldn't lead, said he cared too much, said his emotions were weakness. Then came 2016, injured in the final, forced to watch from the sidelines, the ultimate torture for a competitor. But even there, on crutches, he led. He coached. He believed. And when Portugal lifted the trophy, it wasn't just a win. It was redemption forged through patience. Purpose doesn't always look like control. Sometimes it looks like surrender without quitting. Ronaldo understood that, so let this sink in. Greatness is not a moment. It's a mindset practiced daily. You don't need his genetics. You don't need his resources. You need his standards. Show up when it's boring. Push when it's painful. Stay when quitting feels justified. Because most people give up too soon. Right before progress compounds. Right before discipline pays interest. Right before the version of themselves they've been chasing finally shows up. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't wait for belief from the world. He built it in private. And that's why his legacy will never be about goals alone. It will be about what's possible when commitment becomes identity. Then listen closely, because this is the part that decides everything. There comes a moment in every pursuit where effort is no longer enough, where hard work blends into routine, where progress slows and doubt creeps in quietly. This is the dangerous middle, the place where most people plateau, settle, or slowly disappear. Cristiano Ronaldo met that moment many times. After records, after trophies, after proving everything there was to prove. And each time he chose hunger over comfort. That choice is rare, because success seduces. It whispers, "You've done enough." It invites you to relax, to protect what you've already built instead of risking more. Ronaldo rejected that whisper. He understood that staying at the top requires more discipline than climbing there in the first place. When he left Real Madrid at the peak of his power, people questioned the decision. Why leave a kingdom you built? Why walk away from guaranteed glory? Because clarity had evolved. He wasn't running from success. He was running toward challenge. At Juventus, a new league, new culture, new doubts, older body, younger competition. And still, goals came. Standards followed. Teammates rose, not because he talked about leadership, but because his habits demanded excellence. Leadership is lived, not announced. Every sprint in training was a message. Every recovery session was a lesson. Every refusal to compromise was a signal. This is where purpose sharpens again. Ronaldo never trained to look good on game day. He trained to dominate when others faded. He trained so that pressure would feel familiar, so that chaos would feel controlled. He visualized moments before they happened. Free kicks, headers, late-game runs. Not hope, precision. The mind rehearses what the body will execute. And when things didn't go his way, he adjusted. No tantrums, no excuses, just recalibration. That's mastery. People confuse confidence with arrogance. Ronaldo's confidence was earned daily. It wasn't loud, it was reinforced by proof. Proof built at dawn. Proof built when cameras were off. Proof built in repetition so deep it became instinct. This is adaptability at its highest level. He didn't cling to old versions of himself. He outgrew them. Winger became goal machine. Athlete became tactician. Star became standard. And with each evolution, the lesson deepened. Discipline is not punishment. It is alignment. Alignment between who you are today and who you refuse to stop becoming. Even as years passed, his ambition didn't soften, it matured. He became precise, efficient, ruthless with his time. He protected his energy like a professional protects capital. Because time is the one opponent you never beat, only manage. Gratitude kept him balanced. Not performative gratitude, real gratitude. For his mother, his roots, his struggle, his critics, even his failures, because each one taught him something success never could. That gratitude made him dangerous, because it removed fear. When you're grateful, you don't cling. You move forward. And here comes the truth most people avoid. You don't lose momentum because you're tired. You lose it because you forget why you started. Ronaldo never forgot. He remembered the boy who left home, the kid who cried alone, the player who was doubted, the man who chose discipline over ease again and again. That memory became fuel. So if you're stuck, this is your mirror. If you're frustrated, this is your invitation. Stop negotiating with your limits. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop quitting in the middle. Standards first. Feeling second. Because greatness doesn't require permission. It requires commitment. And if you can commit when no one is watching, when progress is slow, when praise is absent, when the work feels thankless, you will separate yourself too. That's not Ronaldo's secret. That's the law of greatness. Good, because now we arrive at the edge. This is where everything either sharpens or slips away. There's a moment in every long journey when success stops feeling exciting and starts feeling heavy, when expectations become chains, when every performance is judged, every mistake magnified. Most people crack here, not because they lack ability, but because they lack emotional control. Cristiano Ronaldo mastered that too. He learned how to carry pressure without letting it poison him, how to convert criticism into data, how to listen without absorbing doubt. He understood something deeply uncomfortable. The higher you climb, the lonelier it gets, and he accepted that loneliness as the cost of excellence. While others needed reassurance, he relied on routine. While others chased balance, he chased precision. While others protected their image, he protected his standards. This is emotional discipline. Not reacting, not spiraling, not blaming, just returning to the work. When the world questioned his moves, his age, his relevance, he didn't argue. He trained. He competed. He let results speak in a language critics understand fluently. Goals are loud. Records are undeniable. But even when numbers couldn't silence everyone, he didn't flinch. Because by then, his identity was no longer dependent on approval. It was anchored in process. That's freedom. Freedom from needing validation. Freedom from mood-based effort. Freedom from quitting when things get uncomfortable. Ronaldo learned to suffer with direction. Suffering without direction breaks people. Suffering with purpose builds legends. Every ice bath, every recovery session, every lonely hotel room, every sacrifice layered quietly over years. That's where the edge comes from. And here's the part that hits hardest. Cristiano Ronaldo was never afraid of being obsessed. He embraced it, because obsession, when controlled, is just passion with structure. It's focus without apology. The world calls that too much. History calls it greatness. As he entered new phases of his career, new leagues, new roles, he didn't cling to the past. He carried lessons forward. He proved that adaptability isn't weakness. It's intelligence in motion. Different environment. Same standards. That's identity-level discipline. Not I work hard when it's convenient. But this is who I am regardless of context. And that's what separates people who peak early from people who endure. Endurance is invisible in the beginning. It only reveals itself over time, when others fade, when others slow down, when others make peace with decline. Ronaldo refused that narrative, not because he denied reality, but because he trained for a higher one. He didn't ask, "How long can I keep this up?" He asked, "How far can I push it?" That question alone rewired everything. So if you're listening right now and you feel behind, good. If you feel underestimated, even better. If you feel tired but still hungry, you're exactly where growth begins. Because the final separation doesn't happen at the start. It happens at the end of effort when most people stop. And that's where Cristiano Ronaldo always accelerates. Stay there. Hold the standard. Don't rush the reward, because what you're building isn't just results. It's reputation. It's identity. It's legacy. Then this is where it all converges. Because legacy isn't built when everything is going right. It's built when nothing needs to be proven, yet you show up anyway. Cristiano Ronaldo reached a point where records followed him like shadows. Goals stacked, history bent. But what mattered most was never the numbers. It was the standard he refused to lower, even when the world told him he'd already done enough. That's the final test, when ambition outlives applause, when discipline remains after desire fades, when purpose stands even when outcomes are uncertain. Ronaldo understood that greatness isn't a finish line, it's a way of moving through life. A posture, a demand placed on yourself that never expires. He trained like tomorrow was promised to no one. He competed like every moment mattered. He respected the game by respecting the work. And in doing so, he left something behind that can't be taken away by time or opinion. Proof that obsession can be healthy when it's aimed upward. Proof that consistency outperforms hype. Proof that self-belief, when backed by action, becomes reality. So here's the truth, uncomfortable, simple, unavoidable. Most people give up too soon, not because they can't continue, but because they stop seeing immediate results. They quit in the silence. They quit in the middle. They quit right before the breakthrough. Cristiano Ronaldo never did. He stayed when it was repetitive. He stayed when it was painful. He stayed when it was lonely. And staying day after day, year after year, is what turned effort into inevitability. You don't need to be Ronaldo. You don't need his stage. You need his mindset. Decide who you are when no one is watching. Decide what you tolerate from yourself. Decide that quitting is no longer an option you negotiate with. Because once standards are set, motivation becomes irrelevant. Action becomes automatic. Progress becomes unavoidable. And one day, you'll look back and realize the moment that changed everything wasn't dramatic. It was the day you didn't stop. If this message hit something inside you, don't let it pass like entertainment. Use it, apply it, become it. Subscribe to this channel for more cinematic, life-changing motivation. Stories that sharpen your mindset, raise your standards, and push you beyond what you thought was possible. This isn't about watching greatness. It's about building it. There's a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when a person realizes they are no longer chasing greatness. They are greatness in motion. Cristiano Ronaldo reached that point not because the world crowned him, but because he crowned himself through years of uncompromising discipline. At this level, there is no hype left. No external motivation. No need to prove anything. Only identity. He wakes up and trains not because he feels inspired, but because this is who he is. Excellence is no longer a decision. It's default. The body responds automatically because the mind has already decided years ago. This is what most people never reach. They rely on emotion. Ronaldo built systems. They wait to feel ready. Ronaldo prepared until readiness was irrelevant. They stop when results slow down. Ronaldo understood that slow progress is still progress if you stay consistent. This is the final separation. Because at the highest level, talent is equal, opportunity is equal, resources are equal. What's not equal is standards. Ronaldo's standard followed him everywhere. Different clubs, different leagues, different cultures, same intensity. He didn't ask, what's required here? He decided, this is what I require of myself. That's power. And power doesn't need permission. Even now, after everything, after the goals, the trophies, the records, he still trains like someone who hasn't arrived. Because deep down, he knows something most people forget the moment they taste success. The moment you relax your standards, you start declining. So he never relaxed. He sharpened. He treated every season like a test, every training session like a statement, every match like a responsibility. Not to fans, not to critics, to himself. That's why pressure never owned him. He owned pressure. That's why doubt never stopped him, it exposed others. That's why time never defeated him, because discipline slowed it down. And here's the part that matters for you. You don't need a stadium. You don't need millions watching. You don't need validation. You need a decision. A decision to stop quitting early. A decision to stop negotiating with discomfort. A decision to raise your standards so high that excuses can't survive in your environment. Because most people give up too soon. They give up when it gets repetitive. They give up when it stops being exciting. They give up when growth demands patience instead of praise. Ronaldo never did. And that's why his story isn't just about football. It's about what happens when a human being commits fully to their potential without apology. So the question isn't whether you're talented enough. The question is, will you stay when it's boring? Will you push when it's painful? Will you continue when no one is clapping? Because that's where greatness actually lives. Not in highlights, not in outcomes, but in standards repeated daily. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't become legendary because he was special. He became legendary because he refused to be average for even one day. Let that sink in. And if this message lit something inside you, don't scroll past it. Don't. Treat it like motivation that fades tomorrow. Turn it into action. Raise your standards. Commit to the process. And stop giving up too soon. Subscribe to this channel for more cinematic, life-changing motivation, stories that build discipline, sharpen mindset, and push you beyond limits you thought were permanent. This isn't content. This is a code. And once you live by it, there's no going back.